Cloud services have transformed how organizations store data, run applications, and deliver services, and they have also created a category of information security risk that did not exist in previous generations of IT. Control A.5.23 is new in ISO 27001, 2022, and was introduced specifically to address the unique security challenges of cloud adoption. It requires organizations to define and implement processes for the secure acquisition, use, management, and exit from cloud services. In the next few minutes, we will explore what makes cloud security distinctive, what the standard requires, and how to assess and manage cloud providers effectively. Let us explore the fundamental characteristics of cloud services that create distinct information security challenges and why ISO 27001, 2022 introduced a dedicated control to address them. A.5.23 requires organizations to manage the information security risks of cloud adoption through defined requirements, provider assessment, and effective exit plan. The shared responsibility model is the foundational concept of cloud security. In every cloud deployment model, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, or software as a service, the cloud provider and the customer share responsibility for security, but the boundary between those responsibilities varies. In IaaS, the provider secures the physical infrastructure and hypervisor while the customer is responsible for operating systems, applications, and data. In SaaS, the provider's responsibility extends to the application layer. Organizations must explicitly understand and document the boundary of their security responsibility for each cloud service they use, and ensure that no security obligations fall into the gap between provider and customer responsibility. Before adopting any cloud service, organizations should define their information security requirements and verify that the cloud provider can meet them. Key requirements to assess include data residency, ensuring data is stored in geographies that comply with legal and regulatory requirements. Encryption, confirming data is encrypted at rest and in transit using appropriate algorithms and key management. Access control, verifying that multi-factor authentication, role-based access, and privileged access management are available and enabled. And incident notification, ensuring the provider will notify the organization of security incidents affecting their data within contractually required timeframes. Cloud provider assessment should be evidence-based rather than reliant on provider self-assertion. Recognized third-party certifications, ISO 27001, 2022, SOC 2 Type 2, CSA Star, and FedRAMP, provide independent verification of a provider's security controls and operational discipline. Organizations should request and review the most recent audit reports for any cloud provider handling sensitive data, assess the scope of the certification to confirm it covers the specific services being used, and note any findings or qualifications in the audit report that may indicate areas of weakness. Cloud exit strategy is the most commonly neglected aspect of cloud security. Yet vendor lock-in and data portability failures represent a significant operational and security risk. Organizations should define data portability requirements before signing cloud service agreements, ensuring they have contractual rights to export their data in a usable format upon termination. Multi-cloud environments introduce additional complexity, data sovereignty across providers, identity federation challenges, and the risk that a security incident at one provider can affect services running in dependent cloud environments. 4 essential concepts that underpin effective implementation of Control A.5.23. Understanding the shared responsibility model is not optional. It is the prerequisite for designing a secure cloud architecture. Misunderstanding the boundary of responsibility is the root cause of many significant cloud security incidents. The most common error is assuming that a cloud provider's security certification means the customer's data and applications are automatically secure, when in fact the customer retains responsibility for their own access controls, data classification, application security, and configuration of the cloud services they consume. Data residency requirements arise from a combination of legal obligations, regulatory requirements, and customer contractual commitments. GDPR, for example, imposes restrictions on transferring personal data outside the European Economic Area without appropriate safeguards. Healthcare data in many jurisdictions must remain within national borders. Understanding where each cloud provider stores, processes, and backs up data, including in disaster recovery scenarios, is essential for demonstrating compliance with data residency requirements. A cloud exit strategy should be developed before the organization becomes dependent on a cloud provider, not when it is trying to leave. The strategy should document the data formats in which each service's data can be exported, the APIs and tools available for bulk data extraction, the expected time and cost of migration, and the alternative providers or on-premises options that could host the service. Cloud service agreements should include contractual data portability rights and a defined data deletion process upon termination. SOC 2 Type 2 is the gold standard for cloud provider security assurance in many sectors. Unlike a SOC 2 Type 1 report, which only assesses whether controls were designed appropriately at a point in time, a Type 2 report verifies that controls operated effectively over a sustained period. When reviewing SOC 2 reports, organizations should pay attention to the scope. Not all provider services may be covered, and to any exceptions noted by the auditor, which indicate controls that failed to operate as intended during the review period. Now let us explore how organizations can practically implement A.5.23 to manage the security of their cloud services portfolio. Effective implementation of A.5.23 requires a cloud security policy, provider assessment process, contractual protections, and ongoing monitoring of the cloud service portfolio. A cloud security policy provides the governance foundation for all cloud adoption decisions in the organization. It should define which cloud service categories are approved for use, what data classifications are permitted in each service category, what security assessment is required before a new cloud service can be adopted, who is authorized to approve cloud service adoption decisions, and what security baselines must be configured before a cloud service is used for business purposes. Without a policy, cloud adoption decisions are made inconsistently, often with inadequate security consideration. Cloud provider risk assessments should be conducted before any new cloud service is adopted and at regular intervals thereafter. The assessment should evaluate the provider's security certification status, review the most recent third-party audit reports, assess data residency and sovereignty arrangements, evaluate incident notification and transparency practices, and confirm that contractual security requirements can be met. For high-risk services processing sensitive data, the assessment should be more rigorous and may include direct engagement with the provider's security team. Cloud service agreements, particularly for consumer-grade or SME-targeted services, may not include the security provisions required by an ISO 27001 ISMS. Organizations should review terms of service for cloud services carefully, identifying gaps in data protection, incident notification, audit rights, and data portability. Where terms cannot be negotiated, organizations must assess whether the residual risk is acceptable or whether an alternative provider should be used. For enterprise cloud agreements, security-specific contract schedules should address the key requirements of A.5.23 explicitly. Cloud security misconfigurations, publicly accessible storage buckets, overly permissive access policies, disabled logging, and unencrypted data stores are among the most common causes of cloud security incidents. Continuous configuration monitoring using cloud security posture management tools can automatically detect deviations from security baselines and alert the security team before misconfigurations can be exploited. This monitoring should be integrated into the organization's broader security monitoring program. Let us consolidate the essential points from our exploration of Control A.5.23. If you want to master all 93 Annex A controls and implement ISO 27001-2022 successfully, our complete Udemy course covers every control in depth with practical implementation guidance. Enroll today using the link below. Thank you for watching. If you found this useful, please like and subscribe for more ISO 27001 control breakdowns. See you in the next video.